Hey, welcome to a new devlog. It's been a while since we've done a proper one of these. That last one was a rambly mess. To explain myself on the last video, I just wanted to quickly get into the mindset of trying to do this sort of content again. So I quickly went over and didn't really edit it too much and just put it out there as like a, hey, it's back. And this is the first proper one, so let's just get into it. Here I have Rose and Thorn, and I've made some changes. There's some integral design changes as well as changes to the implementation that I've been working on. It works roughly the same, though there are some key differences. So let's go over the implementation first, since I just need to show you it. I'm not going to go over the code. I plan to do code videos in the future, but they'll be their own separate things. So first off, I don't remember if I actually... Whoa. I can see some already. Yes, I know. I kind of understand what's going on there. This entire area doesn't seem to agree with how I've programmed some of the logic. There we go. This is going well, right? Anyway, so the idea is you have a grab that you can grab on ledges, and for some reason, okay, now it wants to work. I have no idea why it wants to work now. And you can also climb up. We don't have an animation for it yet, but it's fine. So that's one thing. I'm not sure if I ever showed that off, but there it is. And another thing is I'm changing up Rose's attacks a bit. These as you can see, the animation's different, and the actual hitbox is also different. I have a stamina bar going, so that's why I can't always attack. If I continue to press the X button, it's not gonna work. So I'm actually gonna restart because I don't want to be on no stamina. There's also a dash, more of a proper dash. This isn't an attack. This is just a dash. And basically, I'm not limiting how much you can attack in the air anymore. It's all based on your stamina. So if you have the stamina, you can continue attacking like in the air or like dashing in the air if you wanted to. But it's based on your stamina. So you only have a limited amount of stuff you can do until you run out of stamina. There are actually two forms of stamina in the game now. Might be why. Okay, it is. So as you see, that was a different thing. I used the same dash button, so like if I take it off, this is what happens. If I put it back on, this is what happens. And the idea here is that Rose can use magic abilities as well, and that's what those are. So it works basically the same as stamina. So when you do regular attacks, they both deplete, like stamina and magic deplete the same way. But if you use special attacks while you're using magic, you do something more flashy. So that's what that is. It's the more flashy dash move, whereas this is just a dash. You can it's also acts like as a kind of dodge roll, so you can dodge at enemies' attacks with it. Of course, I don't have an animation for it yet because that seems hard to animate. But the idea here is also magic doesn't replenish automatically. The idea will be when you defeat an enemy, or if you collect mana as in any other game, if you find it on the floor or something, or as a result of breaking a box or something, you can replenish your mana that way. And so theoretically, if you chain your attacks right and defeat enemies enemy after enemy, you can continue to do stuff like this, where you're using your mana to constantly stay in the air and move upwards. So rather than just your stamina, you can use your mana. Though it obviously needs to be tuned, because I want you to be able to basically in a more free-form way move about the room and stuff. So we'll see exactly how we can optimize that sort of deal. And as you can see, there are a couple other things, like this ray cast that keeps moving around. You can see it's moving right when I move. It's moving right when I attack right, up when I attack up, left when I attack left. That is yeah, it's an interesting little thing that I cooked up. That about covers the implementation. Oh, actually, no, one more thing. So I also have implemented bash and pierce attacks. Haven't implemented Pierce specials. I forgot about that detail. But an interesting thing with Pierce that I did implement is that... Oh, missed it. You can now... So this isn't a glitch, the idea here is when you jump and attack down, you can then vault onto your pierce attack, like spear sort of attack. And then you'll be standing on, basically the idea is you're standing on top of your fan at this point. And then you can jump off of that. You could, and eventually I want to also implement attacks off of the spear. Currently there are none. And there's also a special one where you can attack diagonally, and it'll kind of vault you in like a more proper vault in a direction. So, yeah. And you activate the pierce attacks just by holding this down, the left bumper. So if you hold on the left bumper, you'll do pierce attacks rather than slash attacks. And if you don't, then you just do slash attacks, of course. And then the inverse, like if you do the right bumper, you'll do bash attacks. And one last thing, you can. I also have implemented new attacks, directional attacks for going, for example, down diagonal. If you're just doing a regular attack, it'll be like so I don't have the animation for it again, but it'll be like more of a slide and then slash. I feel like this is a bit too. It doesn't move enough distance. But the idea here is that, like, you imagine Rose kind of ducking down like this and then slashing at the end, sort of deal. That's the idea here, and like all of them have a similar thing, where this is more of a pierce forward. So if you dash like this, you do a pierce forwards sort of deal. And the bash attack also has one where it's more like a slash attack where you dash and then you can bash and make yourself jump up without pressing the jump button. And the idea for those things is to hit like an area of an enemy that you can't normally hit. I have other ideas like that. I'm not gonna go through every single design because I'm sure there are attacks that I'm missing that well, definitely not implemented. There are definitely attacks that I don't have implemented, and not only that, there are probably attacks that I have implemented, or maybe even or maybe just designed for, and I haven't like been able to think them up off the top of my head because this isn't a scripted video. But we'll get to those at some point. So I'm trying to basically figure out where should my priorities lie. I feel like a lot of this feels pretty nice. There are stuff with the pierce attack. The pierce attacks particularly are like a challenge because the vault state is not it's not a consistent thing. Rather, I haven't implemented it smart enough. So that's something I need to work on. But I wanted to open up to you guys to ask, how do these things look? Do these make sense, do you think? Obviously, in order to gauge it, in order to grade it completely fairly, I'm going to need enemies to attack, or at least a dummy that's moving around that I can destroy. So, obviously I need that before I can like really get a feel for how these attacks feel. But I want to know if these ideas sound cool or what have you. And if you have any other ideas that like are would serve well with what I have here, do let me know. There are definitely balancing I need to do. I'm just not really sure. I just want to be sure that whatever I make for Rose makes sense and is fun to play with. So let me know if this seems like fun to play with. And if you want to try to test this out, like as I've shown, it's pretty buggy. It's not like the most stable thing. But if you want to test this stuff out, just let me know. I can upload a build somewhere, and you can give this a shot yourself if you'd like. Just let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in messing around with this thing. It's functional to a degree. So that's that. In terms of the design, my last video I was talking about theoretical designs, and I've thrown some of that stuff out. Like for example, I had this idea to have some of Rose's attacks be slottable. That I have decided is not tenable. It's just it adds a kind of needless complexity to it. I want to try to streamline Rose's 3 primary attacks such that the 2 attacks she gets on top of the slashing are more of an ability akin to a different weapon in Cave Story, or or something like a beam weapon, an additional beam weapon you would get in Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime is actually a big inspiration of how this combat system now works in a spiritual sense. I want to try to emulate the fact that you have a set of tools and you can switch between these tools and use them for different goals. And I want it to be a little bit different than in Metroid Prime. It was more of a color coordination thing. You just need to match the color to the enemy, and like you'll basically get through it. I mean, it's a bit more to it than that. Metroid Prime is a bit more well designed than that, which is why I'm taking inspiration from it. It's one of my favorite games. But I want to try to kind of put that in a more of a tactical lens, where like your different modes or beams, in like this case, they're not beams, they're weapons, allow for more distinctive gameplay. Where if you're playing with the slashing, if you're using the slashing, I want it to feel significantly different than if you're using a piercing attack. And same thing with the bashing. If you have ideas for how to differentiate or make them any better than they are now, do let me know, and I'll try to implement it. I'm currently playing around with different things. We'll see how it goes. In terms of what I'm going to be doing next, I showed the board off last time. I haven't populated the board with new tasks because I ordered something from Amazon and it came out very small. Like I had like little small sticky notes that were not going to work. But I have since gotten better sticky notes. I haven't actually like set out to make tasks yet though, because I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about exactly how Pierce is gonna look. And I've done this several times. I've mapped out all the attacks, but then after like starting to implement it, I'd start reconsidering. So again, that's why I'm asking viewer that, give me your take on this. And if you want to play with it around to mess with it yourself, just let me know and I will send it to you. There is one thing though, I'm probably going to have to upload 2 builds because the thing with my current build, it's kind of screwy, is that in here I have this thing called mouse enabled, and basically it's an either-or thing. Either the mouse can be enabled and you play with keyboard and mouse, or the mouse is disabled and you have to play with the controller. Otherwise, if you try to do like the other way around, if like mouse is enabled and you're using controller, things get screwed up. And if you use mouse enabled is false and you use the keyboard and mouse, again, things get screwed up in a completely different way. So that's my fault. I need to work on that logic, and like ideally you can use both interchangeably and not have to deal with this. But currently I'm not sure how to do that. So I will probably default to a controller, and if someone also requests that they be able to use the mouse, I'll let them use the mouse. Anyway, this is basically wraps things up. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of this content, make sure to leave a like in the video. Ring that bell if I don't even know if it works anymore, but just ring it, I guess. This is the typical YouTube spiel. And if you want to see my game survive, at least because the game's gonna happen. I'm saying this. The game is going to happen someday, but it would come faster if I can work on it more, and thus Patreon. If you are feeling generous, drop a buck. It would be really cool. I'm also starting to do comics and drawings and stuff, so if that's at all interesting, you can also drop me money on Patreon for that if you're interested in seeing that stuff. I'm going to be posting more on my Twitter, both on my personal account Twitter as well as the Twitter for the game. This is going to be posted on that Twitter, the game's Twitter, rather than my Twitter. I might like boost it a couple times on my Twitter, but whatever. And lastly, be sure to join my Discord if you want to have some talk about either this game or the game you're making, or any other games. I am always on Discord, so if you ever need to talk, just hit me up on there. You can again go to my servers and the link in the description, and then you can DM me if you want, and I'll answer as soon as I can. In any case, again, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.